You have taken a class with Capella University. It is in Minneapolis, but it doesn't really matter where you live because it's all online. Founded in 1993, it is Minnesota's first online learning company and its largest with over 35,000 students, and it's anything but traditional. In fact, Capella has stayed relevant because of its ability to change with the times, offering more than just four-year degrees, a master's or a doctorate.
That's where what Capella is doing is really important, because they're figuring out a way to do more niche, tailorized educational programs to fill those needs of the employers. Nursing, for example, that's where they're having to go back. They are having to get additional certificate programs, and you see it in manufacturing. I mean, we saw it at Crystal Sugar, and so you see it across all sectors and industries today. Everybody needs to kind of polish up on what they know.
It's a good resource for us to know about. Capella has also made a series of deals to refocus and expand this year, including a partnership with Career Builder.
General Mills was founded in 1866. That's 8 years after Minnesota became a state. That's how long they've been around. The company's celebrating 150 years, although it's been a tough few months. Today we learned sales dropped again. That's 5 straight quarters now.
Part of the issue is they've gotten rid of underperforming products. They also sold off their Green Giant line. So when you see sales dropped as much as we hear they did, a lot of that was discontinued products.
Sales officially fell 7%. One product General Mills hasn't discontinued. Yoplait, but the yogurt is struggling to sell.
People are really liking the Greek yogurt. Meanwhile, Yoplait is kind of going out to the side. And when you think about that, that's a $2.8 billion segment for that company. So it's a big chunk of their business.
In a statement today, General Mills CEO Ken Powell said, quote, "Our first quarter profit margin expansion and EPS results reflect continued good progress on our productivity and cost savings initiatives. However, our net sales performance did not meet our expectations." We were talking about Yoplait there. General Mills has another breakfast option that is being eaten, except some argue it's not quite what they expect. We'll explain that on KARE11 Sunrise tomorrow. See you then. It's taboo to talk about it sometimes, but we're going to do it today. We're going to talk religion here. We've got Dale Kurschner of Twin Cities Business. Pew Research Center says 1% of adults in Minnesota identify themselves as Muslims. So how is this creating a challenge for certain businesses here in the state?
Sure. Well, Muslims like to pray 5 times a day. It's part of their religious ways of living to be able to pray 5 times a day. So in manufacturing facilities, we've seen employers have to create prayer breaks that fit in with the schedule so that they can keep their assembly lines going, but also make sure that people can pray. And these prayer breaks can take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. So if you have 50 or 100 employees all wanting to pray within that specific window of time, how do you keep your assembly line going? So it's become kind of challenging.
And we've seen certain backlash too, lawsuits even.
Yeah, Cargill has run into that situation in Colorado. We also have had Aaron's in Wisconsin. And there, Corey, it's been more of a situation where employees have not stuck with the schedule for prayer breaks. They've decided that they should be able to have more random times to pray. So it's this issue of how do you fit so many people in a tight window of time to pray and keep those assembly lines going.
Is it a company's responsibility to accommodate?
You know, Chapter 7 of the American Civil Liberties Act says that they cannot restrict one's religious freedom. Where it gets to be an issue is we have a company in Worthington that has an operation in Colorado. They clocked it at about $18,000 a day if they allow employees to just have their prayer breaks whenever they like. And so you have to strike a balance. And most of our employers are actually striking that balance pretty well.
You have got a lot of great stuff. It is the cover story for this month in June, right here, Twin Cities Business. Great stuff in there, Dale.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you very much. It's the largest bank in Minnesota. Wells Fargo has over 160. They've got themselves a huge PR problem.
They were basically stealing people's money and using it to better themselves financially. And so it's fraud.
Sounds pretty bad, and it is. But how high up does it go? CEO John Stumpf told the Wall Street Journal there was no incentive to do bad things. Yet a lot of employees say they were pressured to cross-sell products.
All of a sudden, you have 5,000 employees who can go back and say, wait a second, if you told us, then you shouldn't have fired us.
Maybe wrongful termination. Wells Fargo, though, has already agreed to pay back customers, and they're changing their model that led to this fraud.
Wells Fargo has now come out and said, We are doing away with all branch-based incentives starting January 1st.
But how do they gain back that trust? And with those changes, how do they turn 2017 into a success?
This is gigantic for Wells Fargo because banks can't make much money today with low interest rates. So the way they do make money is with services and fees.
So just how many people in Minnesota were affected here? Wells Fargo, not getting into those details. Tomorrow on KARE11 Sunrise, we ask Dale the question, what about other banks? Could they be doing something similar?
One of Minnesota's most popular restaurants, Famous Dave, shook up its leadership for the 4th time in as many years.
Earlier this month, the Minnetonka-based restaurant replaced CEO Adam Wright with Mike Lister. Today, Corey Heppola spoke with financial expert Dale Kurschner about Famous Dave's new plan of attack.
It's been about a year now since Famous Dave Anderson came back to the restaurant that he helped found, Famous Dave's. And just this past week, another major change, a new CEO for Famous Dave's. But as Dale Kurschner from Twin Cities Business tells me, that seems to have been the plan all along.
You know, the accounting stuff has kind of been taken care of. And I like to think of it as Adam Wright came in to right the ship that was listing, and now that it's no longer listing, Michael Lister is coming in to take it forward. So I know that's corny.
Corn. Cornbread, a staple at Famous Dave's. But what about the rest of the menu?
Dave Anderson has been on some TV shows where they've helped him come up with some new recipes.
And my vote goes to Famous Dave.
Dave taking the smoked trophy for his boar sausage sliders and zesty pork loin. Kurschner tells me Dave's goal is great taste and dining experience because they have new competition.
We're hearing that restaurants, especially in the price range of a Famous Dave's, is having more competition from people who say, hey, I can just go to the grocery store and they sell really good ribs now that are ready to eat. I can just take them home and heat them up.
And Dave, he could be getting more TV help.
That looks like what my cat threw up in my living room this morning.
That's John Taffer, host of Bar Rescue on Spike TV. He actually sent out this tweet. Soon we will announce an exciting new project we are doing together. Taffer is known for fixing up bars and restaurants with his colorful language. Welcome back, everybody. We have Dale Kurschner of Twin Cities Business here. Dale, a lot of people making those New Year's resolutions, maybe making goals for 2017 and thinking, this is my year to start up that company. You yourself ran a company for 7 years, and you have some tips for people if they're thinking about doing that.
Sure. There are a lot of self-help books out there, but a couple of things that people really should think about is, first of all, of course, be really passionate about what you want to do. The other thing is make sure it addresses a need. A lot of times you have this idea where you think, this is a great idea. But if it can't be something that addresses needs out there, then it's not going to probably do as well in the marketplace. Also, think about how will you articulate your vision and your mission and your strategy in a very good business plan. A lot of people want to just run out there and do things.
You got to be organized.
Yeah, and these business plans are like your Bible. You go to it.
Welcome back, everybody. We have Dale Kurschner of Twin Cities Business here. Dale, a lot of people making those New Year's resolutions, maybe making goals for 2017 and thinking, this is my year to start up that company. You yourself ran a company for 7 years, and you have some tips for people if they're thinking about doing that.
Sure. There are a lot of self-help books.
And thinking, this is my year to start. Everybody, we have Dale Kurschner of Twin Cities Business here. Dale, a lot of people making those New Year's resolutions, maybe making goals for 2017 and thinking, this is everybody. We have Dale Kurschner. Welcome back, everybody. We have Dale Kurschner of Twin Cities Business here. Dale, a lot of people making those New Year's resolutions, maybe making goals for 2017 and thinking, this is my year to start up that company. You yourself ran a company for 7 years, and you have some tips for people if they're thinking about doing that.
Sure. There are a lot of self-help books out there, but a couple of things that people really should think about is, first of all, of course, be really passionate about what you want to do. The other thing is make sure it addresses a need. A lot of times you have this idea where you think, this is a great idea. But if it can't be something that addresses needs out there, then it's not going to probably do as well in the marketplace. Also, think about how will you articulate your vision and your mission and your strategy in a very good business plan. A lot of people want to just run out there and do things.
You got to be organized.
Yeah, and these business plans are like your Bible. You go to it with your employees, you go to it with investors if you have them. You keep coming back to it for all your marketing strategy, your product differentiations, and then as you modify your business as you go along, you keep updating that business plan. And it's very important for everybody who's connected to your business to be able to come back to that.
And another thing, too, you had mentioned, too, don't go out on your own all the time.
Right.
Put good people around yourself.
Yeah, and that's another thing where a lot of times people think, I have all the ideas, I'm just going to do this myself. At least have good advisors at first, and then try as fast as possible to hire good people to get you out of the trenches so that you can work more on your business instead of in your business.
Yeah, John Wooden, the famous UCLA basketball coach, always said, I want the best assistant coaches to surround me, so it's something like that, too. Yeah. And then you say schedule time every week to work on the business?
Yeah, you know, sometimes you get so busy in the minutia, especially during startup phase, and you have fire after fire after fire that you have to put out, and you're managing people and you're doing all these different things. Make sure you schedule in time to think strategy and to think bigger picture and get away from the tactical things. And that gets back to working on the business instead of just working in the business.
So that's 5 tips. For you guys out there, if you're looking at starting a business. You have 5 more too, but maybe we can post that in the web article and so that people can read that, and we'll put the whole top 10 in there too. So, but if it's anything, attack it with a passion, right?
Exactly, and have fun.
Okay. Dale Kurschner of Twin Cities Business, we appreciate the time. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, even JFK. None of these presidents had the ability to instantly connect with everyone in the world at any time. President-elect Donald Trump can with Twitter, and he understands its power.
Twitter is becoming one step in Donald Trump's negotiation process.
Just look at Ford. Already this year, Ford canceled plans to build a $1.6 billion factory in Mexico. Their announcement coming just hours after Trump tweeted criticizing GM.
We're also encouraged by the pro-growth policies that President-elect Trump and the new Congress have indicated that they will pursue.
Trump tweeted, "Thank you." Just one of many Trump tweets about publicly traded companies. Now, there's an app for that. Dale Kurschner of Twin Cities Business found Trigger, which can send you instant notifications.
The app signals you as soon as Donald Trump says anything about a publicly traded company, whether it's favorable or whether it's negative.
Kurschner says Trigger can help because Trump's tweets can send stocks flying up or down.
So if he praises a publicly traded company, and if that stock goes way up just because of his tweet, think, okay, now's a good time to sell that stock if I have stock in it because it's going to come back down. I could make a profit now.
And if he criticizes a company?
You can see if that stock price went way down and think, well, do I want to buy in?
It's your new way to get rich quick. If you have an iPhone, Trigger just launched last year and is still working on supporting Android.